Me llamo McDonnell y yo puedo hablar un poquito en español, pero quiero decirle unas pocas palabras en español porque viví en México por 6 años cuando mi papá servía como el cónsul americano en Ciudad Juárez, en Hermosillo y Nuevo Laredo. Quería hablar de un hombre muy especial que ha sido un gran estadista en la Casa de Delegados, Virginia, por 14 años y luego sirvió en la posición de fiscal general en el estado de Virginia y ahora hace campaña para la posición de gobernador de Virginia. Él es un hombre de principios, de mucha integridad, un padre maravilloso para nuestros 5 niños y un esposo que ha cuidado a mí. Ahora, debido a que tenemos muchas personas que no hablan español, voy a hablar en inglés. Quite like the way I spoke when I was just in high school, when my dad was serving in Mexico with foreign service. So I wasn't, my R's weren't kind of really rolling like they used to, but it was fun. And then, now my great pleasure is for me to introduce to you a man that I fell in love with when we were both 19 years old. Bob and I met right here in Northern Virginia, not far from here. And it was the summer between his freshman and sophomore year at college. And Bob loves to tell the story about how when he found out that I was a Washington Redskins cheerleader, that he was only after 3 tickets, not a wife. But what he actually said to his best friend that night, after he asked him who I was, is, "Tell her I want to marry her tomorrow." Now, to me, that doesn't sound like somebody who's only after some free tickets. Bob and I are both from big families. He's the oldest of 5, and I'm the third of 9 children, 7 girls and 2 boys. And as a matter of fact, if you've made it in the door, my father is here. He lives right up here in Northern Virginia at Green Spring. Daddy. Daddy has had a long day. He's been stumping for us. So I hope I haven't worn you out too much, Daddy. He's been at some picnics and barbecues and breakfasts, and I think we've been feeding him rather well. Blessed with 5 children. We have 5 great kids. We have 3 girls and then twin boys. Bob grew up in Alexandria, right near Mount Vernon, where his mother worked for 17 years, and his dad still has the house that they grew up in. I think it's been about 48 or 49 years. And I grew up in Vienna and McLean at the other end of the parkway. And when we met that summer, I was working for the government and attending Northern Virginia Community College. We were married in 1976, the bicentennial year, after Bob graduated from the University of Notre Dame as a commissioned Army officer in the Medical Service Corps. The Army sent us out of Germany. They sent us across the ocean, and we went to Germany for 3 years, where Bob served in General Patton's 2nd Armored Division as a platoon leader with a medical hospital there. And also during those years that he was here, he was able to attend night school, and he went on to get his master's in business administration through the Boston University Overseas Program. When we returned from his duty in Germany, we were grateful that the Army sent us back to Virginia. And we came here and we were stationed at Fort Eustis He was Captain McDonnell at McDonnell Army Hospital, and that is where our love for the Hampton Tidewater area grew, and also we gave birth to our first child, that's Virginia McDonnell. Bob served a total of 21 years in the Army, both active and reserve, and after his 4.5 years of active duty, he accepted a job as a manager with a Fortune 500 company. He did well, his career advanced rapidly, but then he realized he missed his work in his service capacity and decided that he also wanted to access his GI Bill, which he was still entitled to. And at that point, we came back and we settled in Virginia Beach, and he went to graduate school for 2 more degrees, a joint degree in law and public policy. Bob has always believed that service to others is the greatest calling in life. So he was thrilled when he was offered a job coming out of law school to be a prosecutor in Virginia Beach at the Commonwealth Attorney's Office. And I believe it was really this period in his life that has brought us to where we are today. As a prosecutor, Bob saw victims who were not being treated fairly, and criminals who were getting out of jail too soon, along with ones he knew should be convicted, but they would walk because of some loophole in the law, and it disturbed him, and he decided to do something about it. He ran for office against a 20-year incumbent, and he won. That was in 1991, and he served 14 years in the House of Delegates, and then appreciates all of you for electing him as your Attorney General 4 years ago. Now I'm going to let Bob take it from here, but before he comes up, I want him to share with you his history as a statesman, but I want to share with you something I've saved over many, many years that he wrote to me in a little note for a Valentine's Day. And I've always saved it because I believe that it displays what is at the true core of his drive to make Virginia the best state in our nation. He wrote, "To the woman who made my life complete and made me a father, my favorite title. I love you, I love our family, God's great gift to me." Bob's vision has always been, and it always will be, on the Virginia he will be leading to our children and to your children. With that, I'd like to introduce, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you my guy, my husband. I think here he comes. And he's the man that I believe will be the next governor of the state of Virginia.